Okay, this is Carl Farinelli, and we're having our small group meeting. Today's date is
The 19th.
June 19th. Okay, when is Juneteenth? I have to go back and look at my historical calendar. But anyway, we used to celebrate that down in Texas. If you were to do a Gantt chart over how to put these subparts of your big project together, I would do something like this. I would separate this kind of into, since you like sequences, I put this into a sequential chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm gonna put some lines here. If this were the vertical axis and this were the time, here's time down here. So this is where you do what's called a Gantt chart. Is it double N or double T? I always forget how that man spelled his name. Chart. I studied that 50 years ago, but anyway. So here we go. Our simple Gantt chart. Session 8, you had to, with your group, look at 3 districts' communication plans, their internal and external communication. And you did a group report on that, and each group member did a reflection. Hopefully you just posted it one time with everybody's name on the cover sheet and just attached the reflections at the end, right? Is that the way y'all did it?
I didn't because
Okay.
my group is at.
You're in a group at the school. Okay,
Yes.
keep reminding me, you're in a
Yes.
different,
Yes.
you're wagging the curriculum. You're doing this differently.
It's 2 T's.
Mm-hmm. It's 2 T's. Thank you. Bless you for looking that up. G-A-N-T-T. Mr. Gantt, famous Gantt, who came up with the task and time sequence chart. Okay, that you have to use in your curriculum development class for developing a curriculum. Good way to do vertical and horizontal alignment too. Part was one of the steps. So you did, somewhere up here you did 3 10-point posts. Hopefully that related to these 3 district communication plans. Now, some people aren't that organized. They just do 3 10-point posts about anything they're interested in. And that's good, you know, for people that are real artistic and kind of, you know, they're global and they just want to think about everything. They can go out there and look at stuff and do 10-point postings. It's a little more work when they get to the big project if they didn't use the 10-point posts.
Right.
So if you're going to work smarter rather than harder, some people like to work harder. And it's not that it's not smarter, that's just an old saying, right? It's just smart in a different way. But if you're going to really focus your 10-point posts, then you could have talked to 2 other districts and your own district about the communication plans, looked at the pluses and minuses, and then reflected on it and said what you would do if you were the leader. What pluses would you take, what minuses would you throw away, basically, right?
Right.
Okay. We call that force field analysis. And it's just like doing that Popeye chart when you get to the pluses and minuses chart. And then here, 3 more 10-point posts here. And hopefully the next 3 10-point postings had to do with the survey. You know, maybe not, but it could have.
Right.
And you could have had a lot of footnotes for your survey report. And that survey is going to be part 1 of the portfolio project that you turn in for that big project way down here when you do your portfolio project for your program project. And that portfolio project that you do in PR, it's the communication plan, and in your fundamentals class, I think that's the one where you're doing is it the teacher workshop plan or what's the portfolio project for fundamentals?
Develop staff development.
Yeah, staff
workshop.
development, yeah, your teacher training or
Yeah.
staff development. So, you see how a lot of these others could all lead up to what you're gonna say here. Certainly, you'd want the survey results to be addressed when you get to writing the essay down here, right?
Right.
Okay, and you wanna have a crisis plan in there too. So why not go out and look at 2 other districts or 3 and your own district and do 3 10-point postings, at least 2 on other districts and 1 on your own district perhaps, of the crisis plans. And take that and incorporate both your sources and your second sources and your own reflection that you did on first step you had to do an idea and its source. Step 2, you had to do the definition, so you get to write some stuff that that will give you text there.
Right.
Then you have to do a second source, so that's going to give you another footnote. And then you have to tell why you liked it, how you would really use it. Now you're writing lots of text there. That's usually a nice little paragraph, 3 or 4 sentences at least.
Right.
And then a creative idea. Well, creative ideas are what we reflect on, aren't they? So those could be things for your reflection. And all of these then come together. When you get to portfolio project number 2, session 14, if you did all of this the way you do things sequentially, you probably got over half, if not much more, of this already written from those other projects. Once again, as Dr. Ron Cambiano would say, this was the big picture. As Covey would say, you began with the ending in mind. You know, and I don't know, there's other models that say the same thing, but it's having a focus, knowing what the end target is, and trying to line everything else up to support it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so does that help you then with both classes?
Yes.
Now we use PR as our example, but can you look at the other class and see how you could do the very same thing?
Oh, yeah.
And any class that you take with me, and I know a couple of my fellow professors who do kind of this same thing, any class that is field-based, you can pretty well do this. Make everything come to a big project that's going to help your school.
Okay.
And a good way to do that is to say, now which thing is Farinelli or anyone else allowing me to do that's a twofer, that I can use both in his class for 100 points and for the program portfolio, which is that 9, 12, or 15 point rubric.
Right.
Those give you a good hint of the big things that the nationwide organization that judges us, used to be NCAPE, now it's CAPE, I forget what that stands for. But when they come in and look at us, you know, they're looking at what principals and superintendents tell them that a beginning principal and superintendent should be ready to do.
Right.
That's where those projects are built on. It's also where the state questions on the test are built from. So those make great reviews for the state test.
Right.
Okay?
Now, the program portfolio, I know very little about that.
Well, you know a lot more than you think. So let's stop this and let's come to that as a separate posting.